Hey y'all, it's me, Kelly, here at Don't Run with Scissors. I'll take off my glasses so that they don't glare. Um, you'll have to forgive me, I'm really tired. It's been a really long week. I ended up going into my neurosurgeon's office on Wednesday. I couldn't hold out any longer. As I mentioned in one of my previous videos, I have intracranial hypertension. It used to be called pseudotumor cerebri. So I have a BP shunt that drains the excess fluid off of my brain. I actually thought my setting was at a 0.5, which I have a Medtronic Strata too. Yeah, the information I have stored in my head right now is just, it's crazy what I've had to learn over the last few years about shunts and all of that. And so my shunt is programmable. In order to get it programmed or like to have the settings changed, I have to go see my neurosurgeon, who essentially puts like a big magnet on the back of my head and dials it. I'm not kidding. Um, and then essentially this setting will stay in place unless I have an MRI. An MRI will change the setting in my shunt, and a few other things, but they're pretty much absent an MRI or me seeing my neurosurgeon and him changing it. They're pretty stable and they don't change. So we had just been kind of chalking things up to the weather and why I was feeling so bad, but the pain had gotten really bad. So I made an emergency appointment with him and he got me in Wednesday. And what we had found out, I had thought, like I said, I thought I was at a 0.5. And at a 0.5, it basically means that the shunt is open to drain completely. It basically complete drain. It's draining all the time, 24/7. The higher your number on your shunt, the less it drains, which is totally opposite of what you would normally think, but that's how it works. So I thought I was at a 0.5. His notes in the office had said a couple months ago or several months ago, the last time we adjusted it, I think it's actually been just over a year since we adjusted. Yeah, June of 2019 was last time we had changed the setting to up the drain rate. He had it in his notes that I was supposed to be at a 1. When he checked the setting on the shunt, somehow my setting had been changed to a 2. So I was draining at half of the rate that I should have been draining, which is what has caused all the pain. We have no idea why this shunt setting changed on its own. That's a little disconcerting. I am hoping it was a fluke, because the only way to fix that and replace the valve is essentially another brain surgery. So it can take up to 2 weeks kind of for your head to straighten out because what you have to figure is the extra fluid is basically squeezing my brain and squishing it. And so kind of like when you have a stress ball, those little like foamy stress balls, and you squeeze it and then you release it and you watch it inflate. Well, that's sort of what essentially my brain is doing right now, is kind of re-inflating. So it takes a while. So they say give it up to about 2 weeks to adjust. So that first night you could tell the difference. I sleep with a CPAP machine, and that first night the headband kind of thing was huge again. So I knew my head was like, it had shrank. I mean, physically shrank. But yesterday and today we're sort of back up to pain level. So I'm not sure if we're still in that adjusting or if the shunt has again reset itself. So I have a call into the neurosurgeon. He's usually really good about getting back to me and double checking things. So we'll see. I went on a road trip with Emily today. That was a lot of fun. We went up to Augrace, Michigan, which is, let's see. So Michigan is a hand, or the lower part is the mitten. I live like down in here, And Emily, let's see, my family has a cottage up here at the tip of the thumb. And Emily and I drove, it's a 2 hour drive. We drove up there for pickles. I'm not kidding you. We went to the pickle place. We bought pickles. I think I spent like 50 some dollars in pickles. Whatever. I like pickles. Um, so I have pickles. We bought several different kinds, and then we stopped in Pinkani and got some cheese and beef jerky and stuff like that for everybody. And then we stopped in Bay City at the Stitching Well to see if they had a couple little things that I had wanted and or what else they have. Emily stitches too, so Victor and I are going to work on the Adams Family stitch along. So I always say so along because that just seems more logical, but stitch along together. So we stopped there. Emily got several things. I'll show you later when I talk about my haul in just a few minutes what I got there. I was a little disappointed, to be honest with you. Here in Michigan, you're basically told it's 6 feet apart. If you're outside and 6 feet apart, you can kind of not go without a mask. But essentially, we're all wearing masks. It's a governor's order. The owner there was in there ranting and raving about how much her rent was and how much she, had kind of given up during all of this quarantining. And I get it. I'm a business owner too, guys. Like if my clients can't pay me, I don't get paid kind of thing. I don't have other sources of revenue. So I get the fear and I get the frustration as a business owner, but that's not something that my clients know. I mean, they don't know how much my rent is. I can tell you how much hers is because she told us. And she was walking around without a mask for a little bit, and that was kind of frustrating. So I don't know that I'm going to go back, which is kind of sad because I really do want to support businesses, local needles, brick and mortar stores that are owned by individuals and not, corporate conglomerations. So that'll be interesting. I don't know. I'm frustrated. So then we came home, and I got something to eat and kind of chilling out. I had bought bean penguin gummies. I should have brought one and showed you. They're so cute. They're like about this big, and they're 3D. And his little feet and his beak are orange, and then his tummy and his head are white. And then they have like, I guess his wings and his backside. They were different colors. Super super cute. So she was all excited. The boy child did not enjoy the turkey jerky or the cheese that I brought him home. Two things that he generally likes, but he just wasn't feeling it. So that's okay. And neither one of the kids eat pickles. So I have 50 some dollars worth of pickles to eat. And I'm thrilled. To be honest with you, I don't care. I'm happy. So during all of this last week, I did get a lot of stitching done. Always wish it was more. I always wish I got more time to craft and had the energy. I had to take a couple days, honestly. I still biked. I biked every day this last week, and I got in a run. Last Saturday, I ended up with over 120 miles. For 120 miles during almost 7 hours on the bike. What that puts me at is a speed of an average. I think when my coach and I figured out, it was about an average of a 17 and a half miles per hour speed, which is pretty darn good. I certainly I would make the time cutoff for Ironman at that pace with some clearance, with a little bit of forgiveness there. So I'm really really happy with that performance because we're not really in triathlon season here in Michigan. It's the waters are cold. Well, we're still all social distancing, so nobody's really racing here. I'm lucky that my ultra marathon next month is still being held as of today. That could all change on Monday. It could all change tomorrow. Who knows? So, really proud of my bike performance. It'll be nice to see if we can make that average speed a little bit better before next August. So we'll see. So in between there, though, I did get a finish. I finished the Celtic Cross, and it is a pattern on Etsy from Love from Re. It's RHI, and this is a pattern. It's like a buck pattern. I mean, it's seriously. I'm sorry for the glare, guys. I don't know. Yeah, can you see that? I think when I looked for a friend because she wanted the information to buy it, I think she put it on sale for like 64 cents. Seriously, folks, 64 cents. It's beautiful. It stitches up just like the pattern. It stitches up well. It actually kind of goes fairly fast once you kind of get into a groove. So I finished it. So this is on 14 count Aida, white. I think it's white. It is white. And remember, like I said, the inside, well, this outer circle here and the inside medallion is done in it's all done. It's done with 3 DMCs. It's 310, 699, and I want to say 709. But the inner circle, the inner medallion, and then this outer ring is Kelly Green, which I think is funny because that's me. I'm Kelly Green. I wished I had time to FFO it. It's gonna be a pillow. Hopefully this next week I'll get out my handy dandy sewing machine and whip it into a pillow. And that'll be super cute. So then I had purchased some things online, and I actually was, yeah. So I purchased. So one of the things I purchased online was my first ever Mirabilia pattern, and I'm going to do her and have her framed and put in my office. And then I was actually able to track down a copy of Lady of Freedom, and Queen of the Flag, and Lady Liberty. And the irony is, Lady Liberty, she's just beautiful, seriously. And I'm going to give it a go. I'm going to do it on an even weave or a linen of some sort. I've never done anything on that. So the model is stitched on 32 count graceful gray linen. So we'll see. I don't know because I've got the 3 of them and I want to have them all 3 done and framed together for my law office. Lady Justice came to me yesterday in the mail. And so I was initially I found her and I got a really good deal on her. I was going to put her aside and not start stitching at her really anytime. She's just going to go in my I'll get to it when I get to it pile. Given everything yesterday and the passing of Justice Ruth Bader Ginsburg, I feel very drawn to starting Lady Justice as soon as possible. As sort of my memorial to her. I'm just, yeah, I have no words to express right now how I'm feeling about the passing of Ruth Bader Ginsburg. Yeah. I'm processing. So I got that in the mail yesterday, and I was very excited. The other thing from Michelle Bendy Stitchy, yeah, you. I bought this from her for a couple bucks off her day stash, and that came in the mail this last week. What I'm going to do though, or my hope to do, is the little Woody station wagon is adorable. Don't get me wrong, it's very cute. I want to change it out to my Jeep. So I want to sort of alter the chart so that it's a Jeep because that's more me. But for the price, I was like, that's perfect. And these, you guys will laugh. They're not palm trees either. They're coconut trees. Every time I think something is a freaking palm tree, it's not. It's got little coconuts. Maybe one day I'll find a flipping pattern with a palm tree. I don't know. But clearly not anytime soon. So then I have, there's a Michigan Stitchers group, and somebody was going to pass these on to whoever wanted them. So I got them, and they came in the mail as well. And they're just super cute. So the first one is Indian corn. And then there is butterfly dance. Wild violets. And Tudor rose. So my plan, what I'm thinking mentally is that I'm going to stitch them like 2 across, 2 down. Almost like a 4 seasons sort of thing. And then just frame them together. That's my plan for these. They're super little. I mean, seriously, the super little. They shouldn't take that long. So there's that. So that goes in my pile of, hey, get off your butt and do something. So then my daughter, I love Bean. Bean is awesome. Bean loves Pusheen, the cat, the little gray cat. Well, he's not little, he's fat. He's a little fat cat. There's Pusheen. So for Christmas last year, I bought her the little cross-stitching kit. Bean's not really crafty. It's not her thing. She's my science and math, put things together. She's not my crafty girl. So she had cleaned her room because she was doing some other things. And so I have the little kit. And I'm going to make the little Pusheens. There's 3 of them. So those will be cute. But there's only 1 hoop. So I don't know how I'm going to have to track down maybe a couple other little hoops like this to throw them in and just have her be able to stick them on her bulletin board or something. And they shouldn't take long. They're like 1 inch by 1 inch. They're super little. So then the other thing that I got this week was the Monopoly game board pattern. It was misdelivered to one of my neighbors, and so it was really frustrating because the post office is like, look, we delivered it to we have the big community mailboxes where yours, like, you have to use the key to get in yours. And they're like, that's all we know. We've looked in the other boxes. When they went back the next day, it wasn't in anybody's box. So they're like, maybe you can go knock on your neighbor's doors. Yeah, I'm not doing that. That's not my job. Like, I know I probably could, but whatever, I'm not. So last night, it showed up on my doorstep. Whatever neighbor finally checked their mailbox, and they got it, and they dropped it off at my door. So I had my son's favorite game, one of his favorite games. He loves board games and just card games and is Monopoly. So I'm going to stitch that up for him for Christmas, probably Christmas of next year. Because I've got a lot on my plate right now for Christmas of this year. But it's super cute. And I'll probably have to go buy at like a thrift store a Monopoly game so that I can steal all the money and the cards and stuff like that. Because thankfully they're not in here to stitch, and I just don't have that in me to do. Plus you need all the little houses to stick on your land and whatnot. So that's going in when you get to it, you get to it. So as I was buying floss yesterday, I don't know, earlier this week, I don't know, whatever. At some point in this last few days, I was at Joann's and I had to buy a couple flosses. And they had fabric that I fell in love with as I was standing in the line. And then I had to get out of the line to go get the fabric cut. So in case I haven't made it clear, I hate snow. Yep, I said it. I hate the snow. I don't like being cold. I get really cranky. It is not my favorite time of the year. I love Christmas. As far as I'm concerned, it can snow on like Christmas Eve, And by Christmas Day afternoon, it needs to be gone. That's it. That's all the snow I need. Done. Yeah. So I have a small little, I have several pieces of fabric that are like Christmas on the beach sort of thing. But I fell in love with this piece of fabric. Let me see if I can adjust on the couch. Sorry, I'm being kind of lazy after everything. It's been a long week, like I said. Can you see him? It's Santa Claus and he's scuba diving. And the reindeers are scuba diving. Let's see, there we go. There's Santa. And that just cracked me up so much that I bought a half yard and I'm going to make a project bag out of it because it just makes me happy. It just made me laugh. Honestly, it made me laugh enough to get out of one long line, go get in another long line, and then come back to an even longer line that I left. And while I was there too, whoops, sorry. Rainbow snowflakes. They're just beautiful to me. They're absolutely gorgeous. Again, Joann's. They'll be project bags, or I don't know, whatever I decide. This is the green that I bought to line a couple other project bags and to make the Celtic Cross and the Cliffs of Moher and that into pillows. That's the backing fabric. It's pretty boring. Just a little textured green. The other day, and these have been washed, that's why they have all the little strings on them. I got wiener dogs eating pizza and listening to the radio. Project bag. We have coffee. And it literally says, but first coffee. And then just coffee. Because, yeah, coffee. Again, not your typical Christmas fabric. If you're looking for traditional Christmas, it's just not my thing. It's beautiful. It's wonderful. It's not quirky enough. So I found avocado Santa and avocado snowman. And I thought it was hysterical. And it's going to make the most adorable Christmas project bag. And again, going back to I hate snow, we have a big wad of strings. We have flamingos, Christmas flamingos. And then because I just thought it was cute and would make a great general project bag, I have candy. And I have donuts. Because both things make me happy. Sometimes. And then I bought just blue to put in there. Okay, so then my computer hates me right now. There we go. So I have been stitching away on this test pattern and I found an error. So now we fixed the error. So now I need to go and pull out a bunch of stitching so that we can fix it. But it's actually turning out super, super cute. Yes, it's an old Victorian couch. I'll have to throw the link to her Etsy shop down below because I'm totally blanking on it. It's probably got a couple, like 2 more stitching sessions, maybe 3 on it, especially since now I have to rip out over here. It's supposed to match over here, and it doesn't on mine. So I think I figured out with the designer where it's wrong. So she sent me the new adjusted pattern. So I have to work on that. And that's fine because it's kind of fun to try out new things. Like I would never have bought that pattern, but it's actually been a fun stitch, believe it or not. It has been. Okay. Sorry, I was getting thirsty. Yes, I went to Taco Bell. So after all that traveling up and down and not eating all day, I stopped at Taco Bell. Can I just say for a minute that I'm really disappointed and upset with Taco Bell? I don't understand why they discontinued the Mexican pizza. Seriously. Taco Bell. Come on. Okay, so I started the Lakeside Needle Matrushka doll cell. So I worked on the frame because the first one came out last Sunday, Monday. Either way, Sunday or Monday, it came out. And I was all excited. So I did the border and it didn't match up. So I thought I figured out where I went wrong, and I went to do the little frame. And again, doesn't line up. And I'm like, so I took a pencil. Yes, I did. And I mapped it out so that I knew I was right. So I'm almost up to date. We're not that far off. I have to add the little jewels inside these little hoochie majiggers. Finish her face and stuff. I'm not worrying about doing the back stitching right now. I figure if I can get her stitched and stay up to date, except for the back stitching, that I was going to be okay with myself and not beat myself up for being behind, because life. Let's see, what else did we, so we stitched on. So then the other thing that I started stitching, and I'm just doing it in the spare shades of blue that I've grabbed from other projects and I've finished. But I started working on Peppermint Purple's Year of Black Work. It's a free stitch along in their group, but it's super pretty. And I'm really enjoying it. And once you sort of get the rhythm down of like where things go, the squares go, I mean, I think they were like 10 minutes. It wasn't a long stitch to get like the two little squares down. But when I was tired and my head was hurting, it just wasn't something I could focus enough to do. So I'm hoping, clearly I'm not going to catch up anytime soon. Seriously, it's 52 weeks of black work. I have 2.25 weeks worth of blogs done. Whatever, doesn't matter. I'm doing it for my enjoyment, and I'm not going to pressure myself and kick myself for falling behind. Because I'm not. Yeah. And I encourage everybody not to kick themselves. You fall behind. Who cares? It's going on your wall or whatever. You can do it whenever you want. So then Kansas City girl in a Colorado world does she's a designer at Hemlock and Rye, and she has you can basically name your price to buy her patterns and support her through Gumtree. And I think that's really cool because people who are on, may not have money right now with everything going on, can still get a great, beautiful pattern. And then people who can afford to donate more right now or pay more can do that too. And so she's still making, hopefully she's still able to cover her costs as a designer. But she's got one up there that says, I can do all things through spite, which strengthens me. And it's like mood 24/7. Cracks me. So I have started on the frame. That's all I've got done. But that's more than I had done a week ago. So I'm okay with that. I mean, not all things need to be done tomorrow. That's what I keep telling myself. Okay, so then again, September is Sampler Sunday. Oh my Lord, if I could talk. September is Sampler September. And I'm doing the one by Heartstrings Samplery about coffee. It says, first I drink the coffee, then I do all the things. And I think last week I had part of this one done. So I finished that. And then I came down and I started working on this one. This one's actually a really big motif, and it's going to be 2 different colors. And then there's another one that goes in here. So hopefully this week I'll finish this motif and I'll do the little viney one that's in here. That's kind of my goal on this. It's really pretty. I actually really enjoy it. And this one, I keep forgetting. Usually, assume unless I tell you otherwise with me, that I'm just stitching on 14 count Ada. The color may change. It may be cream one day, it may be white one day, it may be antique white, maybe one that I dye. You never know with me. But this one is, I don't know what it is, honestly. Maybe some, I don't know. It's super little. And that's the first time I've ever worked on anything like that. And I really am enjoying it. Now, when my eyes are tired, with everything, I don't enjoy it so much. But like if I pull out like at morning time, that one's kind of fun to stitch. And oh yeah, I'm not done yet. I've still been stitching even more. I know, it's crazy. I'm so glad my kids are older because I don't have to like, one, I don't have to entertain them all the time, and two, they don't need me like standing over them all the time. So today, actually I did this today while in the car with Emily. I don't like to, I'd love to travel, but I can't sit in a car and just do nothing. It bothers me. I just can't do it. So I started the Impossible Odds quote from Barack Obama. And so I have the top border is, I think it's done. I can start coming down on this side and then I work on this side. But that was off and on during the car ride today with Emily. And then it will have the little, well, the top's not done. I have to do the second wave because it's the bunting. And then on the bottom, it will do that and the flag. And then it's got the quote in the middle. It's really pretty. It was a free pattern from Whistle Stop Stitcher. And so I'm really excited about that one. I'm making some progress so that they're not just 8 o'clock and DMC sitting in all of my Ziploc baggies. Let's see. I did work on Long Dog. She got a couple nights. I extended the border down in both ways, and I filled in more of the blue because I'm going to do that. I'm going to do all the negative space in the blue, and then like the sandy tan will be all of the motifs and stuff. So tomorrow there's a stitch along in the Long Dog Pandemic group. We do a virtual stitch together for like 2 hours. So I'll work on that again tomorrow there. This is one where if I'm tired and I still want to do stitching and make some progress, that's when I'll go ahead and I'll fill in the blue because I don't have to count anything. And it's 14 count Ada, so it's pretty visible to me. So it's just one of those, hey, I'm tired, but I still want to stitch projects, which is great. We all need those. For full coverage fanatics, I am still doing the Tour de France. Thank God. I still have I think I have 2 more days. I think it's through Monday. I am more than halfway done with all of my stitches to earn my yellow jersey. So this is my Jeep Starry Night. And I have filled in quite a bit. So by the end of the Tour de France challenge, it should be, I think, down to about here. So not much more, really, now that I'm looking at it. I thought it was a ton more, but it's not much more. We're making progress. That's all that matters. We're making progress. Let's see, what else do I have? Oh, that's a pattern for that. So yeah, so Long Dogs showed you that. So we're still up here. I may be 87 years old by the time this gets done. At the rate I'm stitching on it. Who knows? So the last thing I worked on this last week, because I've been dying to work on it and start it, was Cloud Factory's Epic Disney Princess sale. I had dyed my fabric, and I started on it. And then I folded it up, and yeah, this is the problem. Like, where does it start? So, okay, I know it's at one of the ends. Okay, here we go, because there's my needle minder from Gina's Unique, which she's got great needle minders. So I started, and there's my little Cinderella, or the castle. I don't know. Everybody keeps telling me just keep stitching on it, that the background, like the fabric that I dyed, it'll work out. It's not going to be a problem. But I feel like the stitches are sort of lost on it. Like that tower's actually all blue, but I don't know that you can tell. So I'm not sure how to fix that problem. And is that going to keep being a problem? I don't know. So for now, I'm going to keep going and just pray to the cross stitch god that it works out. Yeah. But at least it started. And not that you can tell it's a castle, but that is the castle. And then I haven't figured out, because I have the extra movies from Ivory Needle on Etsy. I think I'm just gonna put the movies on there randomly, because my fear is that they're gonna, I don't know. I don't want to miss one. If I go in order and then I miss one of the movies, there's no way for me to add it in later. So if I do them randomly, then it's okay if I have to add them in at the like add a movie in at the bottom and not in any order. So I'm thinking that may be the better way to go, because the other option is, well, then the other problem is, do I go in order from left to right like this, or down column 1, then down column 2, then down column 3? And do I account in column 3 for an extra spaces in case Disney keeps coming out with movies? Because Disney's going to come out with more movies. And so, yeah, I don't know. So if you have ideas, help. And then I know I had asked before, like, ways to organize the flosses for that, because some of the flosses I need for, like, the castle, and then I'll need those again, like, when I do Snow White. And that's purely an example, because I don't know which order they are. And I was like, okay, so how do I know where to move my flosses in those bags? Like, it was just causing so much stress. So what I ended up doing the other night, and this is why I hardly stitched on it, because I spent the time trying to make a logical, organized system. So right now I have like grouped like all flosses 0 to 199 are in one baggie, and then 200 to 299 are in another, and so on, and that. I have all of the like my alpaca floss I have with my metallic DMCs and stuff, and I have the glow in the dark thread in one baggie. I have put, I think I separated out 310 and the white and ecru, and B5200 are all in one Ziploc. I think for now that makes the most sense. The only part about that is then I either have to think ahead if I want to take the project with me, like to go sit in a parking lot when I'm waiting for my son at class. I have to take the whole bin with me, because I don't know like which flosses I may need, or I have to plan ahead and pull those flosses for that time, and then I'll have to put them back. So I don't know, maybe that's just not the project that I'm ever going to be able to really travel with. I don't know. First world problem, I guess, really, when you think about it. So yeah, so this next week I'm just kind of letting my brain go back and expand out of its squish state. Hope that it was a fluke. I will pull out my sewing machine, which means once the sewing machine is out, I'll make the pillows and FFO those objects. I'll make the project bags, and I'm going to start sewing those blocks together. Oh, and remember the little applique and activity? I got all the pieces fused and all of the outlines done. So I just need to do all the stitch, like the actual blanket stitch around and the stitch the letters. So that'll be cool. That's like one of those cute take along projects. Shouldn't take much. I don't know. I know that tonight I'm going to have a beer. I'm going to raise the glass to Ruth Bader Ginsburg and drink. And I am sending thoughts and prayers to her family. And yeah. Going to figure out how to be more, I don't want to say politically active, but certainly more vocal about things that are important to me. So, on that happy note, enjoy your evening, enjoy your week. Let me know if you're going to stitch the Monopoly board. If you're stitching that, or if you're stitching anything else with me, like that I'm doing. Oh, that's what I forgot. So I went all the way before I sign off. So before I went to the shop, the stitching well, and I forgot to show you what I bought there, of all the things. So I bought 2 DMCs because I can't find them in Michael's or Joann's or whatever. So I paid twice what I would pay at Michael's or Joann's, which kind of chapped my butt. So there's the Great Pumpkin stitch along, and I think there's also the Big Ass Pumpkin stitch along. They may be the same, or maybe I'm making up the Great Pumpkin because I'm thinking Charlie Brown. Either way, I don't know. Yeah, I'm tired, folks. I picked up Country Cottage Needleworks. Be thankful. I just think that's, I don't know, can you see that? It's so pretty. So pretty. And it literally has 6 flosses. That's it. 6. I definitely don't want to do this on 14 count Aida. It calls for 30 count weeks cocoa linen. I don't know quite where I can get that. I think if I go up to stitches and things. Lord, if I could talk today. Stitches and things up in Fenton. She'd probably have a great recommendation for what I could put that on. She may have 30 count. I don't know. I've never done 30 count linen. So I don't know, is this one of those things that I normally do where Kelly just jumps in and figures it out while she's in the middle of treading water in an ocean? Or is that something that's just really easy, like a step up from the kiddie pool? So if somebody can let me know, I'd appreciate that. Because I just think that's really pretty and I really want to get it done by November. Ideally, honestly, I'd like to kind of have it up in October, but for sure, November. It needs to be an FFO for November. And then a lot of you guys have been doing these, and I think they're absolutely stinking adorable. The Lizzie Kate strings, alphabet strings. So I ended up picking up the Spooky string, Thankful string, and Mary string. And so, like, it's the Halloween. So clearly I want to have that done by Halloween. And what I like the idea that a lot of you guys have done is the one long frame, just the one frame, and then popping these on boards with magnets. So you just switch out. You don't have to switch out the whole frame. That to me makes so much sense. And I'm loving that idea. So then there's the thankful string. Okay, and how cute is that little turkey? He is so cute. He just makes me happy. I don't like to eat turkey, but that turkey makes me happy. The only thing I wish, I kind of wish there was a little squirrel on here. But that's because that's my sorority mascot, is a squirrel. So I kind of wish there was a squirrel there, but there's not. But there's a cute little turkey, and the turkey will stay. I'll have to put a squirrel, maybe on your spring one. Does anybody know on the spring one, is there a squirrel? And then I picked up the Christmas one, which is super pretty. They did not have, what I was actually looking for was Halloweenies and Winter Wienerland, which are the two little wiener dogs patterns. So I figured Maisie needs some stitchy stuff. I just think it's funny. Halloweenies. How funny is it? And I think it says Happy Halloweenies or something. I wanted those, and then which I know Stitches and Things has Winter Wienerland, and she was willing to order Halloweenies for me. I wanted those, and then I wanted the Madame Chantilly summer beachy tier thing. Those were the ones that I was looking for. And then I will at some point need to get like spring and Easter and the rest of these, because I'd like to have the whole series. So that again, I can just pop them in on one big frame. I don't shop at Hobby Lobby, as many of you know. Can't do it. Not with my beliefs on certain subjects. I won't do it. So I'm not sure, because everybody I keep saying that they bought their frame at Hobby Lobby. I can't do it. So I'm gonna hope that between Michael's and Joann's and Etsy, or my daughter being super freaking handy with power tools and stuff, that I can come up with one generic frame that I can just pop these in and out of. Who knows? Who knows? I don't know. So I'm gonna go work on. Well, I'm gonna get a beer. Not gonna lie, I'm gonna go get a beer, kick back, and I think I'm gonna work on my full coverage fanatics challenge so I can finish that out. I want my yellow jersey. I don't know. So yay me. I don't know what else to say. I'm not gonna, like I said, I've kept up my streak on biking. Gotten a run. Once my head kind of levels out a little bit better, I'll start running more, because we do have Bear Lake Ultra on October 17th, Emily and I. And the first year, I just missed the 33-mile mark by 3 miles. I had hit just over 3 miles. I need one more loop, essentially. And we didn't realize until after we had called it at like 1 o'clock in the morning, that because you can run for 24 hours, and however miles you get. So there were a couple people who went for their 100-mile belt buckle. I just want to hit 50K. So we've hit over the 26.2. So anything over a 26.2 is considered an ultra, technically, because 26.2 is a marathon. So I have done over 26.2 in one race. That was the first year. Last year, we went, we just did one lap. I wasn't feeling good. I hadn't really been training. Emily was injured, but we still made it a point to get out there and do the one lap. And we did it. So this year, Emily and I are still sort of undertrained, really, when we think about it. But I'm hoping to go more than one lap, but I'm not looking at getting 50K. So we'll see. Who knows? We have 24 hours to go out there and party. I mean, seriously, we sing on the trail. Yeah, it's fun. Trail running and ultras are a totally different beast than a half marathon or a marathon. The attitudes between runners is totally different. It's just, yeah, it's a totally different game. And this is a trail ultra, and some of the hills, like literally, they feel like they go straight up, straight down. And you're dealing with rocks and tree stumps and the little tree roots and stuff like that. So, I'm never going to qualify for the Boston Marathon. Let's just start off with that. I'm not going to qualify for the Boston Marathon, even running on a flat course like Caseville. It's not going to happen unless I'm like 87. I think at that point I'd probably, if I maintain my current pace, at that point I think I could Boston qualify. But Bear Lake is just one of those. It's a camp for children and teenagers who are blind and vision impaired, and so the money is going for an amazing cause. And it's a fun race, and we've raced it every year that they've held it. Emily and I. So it's our one sort of thing. It's kind of nice that it's usually held in September. With COVID and all of that, they've moved it to October. I'm not sure what that's going to mean as far as, I mean, clearly it'll be cooler. I'm assuming it's going to get dark sooner, which the dark makes it really hard with my vision already. Because like I don't even drive at night unless I absolutely have to. So we'll see. Whatever. Again, we're going out there with the attitude of let's do one lap, and after every lap we reevaluate how we're both feeling. I'm not going to race and push Emily past her limits, and if she's injured or not feeling up to it, then it's not safe for either one of us to go out because I rely on her during a race to help keep me safe. She's not going to let me race if I'm feeling like dog poo. She'll call it just like I'd call it. So, we'll see. So I've got to get running in. So I may have to stitch less to get more running in. I know my coach is like, you really could back off the bike. We know you can bike 112 miles. That's not an issue. We know you can do that for Ironman. So we'll see. Again, we'll see. It's still, we've got time in the season. So, again, if y'all could let Taco Bell headquarters know, keep the Mexican pizza for me. I'd really appreciate it. Let me know if you're going to stitch Monopoly. Or if you're stitching anything else that I'm stitching, because gosh knows, I would love some motivation on keeping me on track. Again, I have ADHD or ADD, and it's a little like, ooh, squirrel. Let's stitch all the things, especially if they're shiny. So hopefully this week, like I said, hopefully this week I'll get out my sewing machine and be able to sew up some stuff. That would be really awesome. And have a couple more finishes. I would really like that. Have a great week. Go do something epic and be amazing.